Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things also. I'm Jarvis.
I'm Jordan, and shout-outs to Bruce Almighty for teaching me BEA beautiful.
Yeah, that's helpful.
That's a good
I'm
one.
Travis, and I always say Wednesday in my head.
Every single time.
Every single time.
It does seem, at a certain point, I still occasionally will use the excuse when I misspell something that has no like alternative British spelling. I go like, oh, it must be like a must be a British thing. So I can
Do you,
go on. Or any mistake I make in my life.
Yeah.
It must
We
be
had
like
a
some
fun
kind of-
one today. If you're comfortable with me mentioning, we were recording ads before this.
Depends how nice the comment is.
And the word specialty comes up.
Mhm.
And so, and Jordan said specialty, but then he was like, or should I say speciality? And or is that a British thing? And I'm like, I don't even know if that's a word.
Yeah, I also remember saying on the show, I remember saying, which one should I do so people make fun of me the least? But now that both have been presented to the audience and they can choose which one they want to
can
make fun of
choose.
me for, go ahead,
No,
head
but
on down to the comments.
But you said it right, to your credit.
Said it normal,
But
and
you-
whichever one you like is the one.
But you offered something where it's like, I don't know where this is coming from, but here it is.
I definitely
Can I tell you,
said
it feels so contextual. I'm trying to think of like, oh, that's my specialty. But like, if I was talking about like a restaurant, I think I would be like, and that's their specialty, right? That, like,
Yeah,
it
it's
feels.
like,
I don't
is
know why.
speciality it does sound
It
like
feels
you put
like
a little
a thing
extra
until I
twang on
think
it.
about it.
Yeah.
It feels like a thing when you're like, I'm joking about how fancy I'm trying to sound. Like, oh, it's
Right.
my speciality.
Or
Nothing, you
divorce,
saw.
you know.
Yeah.
Wait. Now I'm flashing back the nostalgia and Ratatouille style to that moment. Saying, which one did I say? Who am I?
Can we agree that Ratatouille is a mech anime?
Huh. Yeah, like a Gundam?
Yeah, he's like a Gundam.
Yeah. Louis, no, it's not. Linguini.
Linguini, which, by the way, may as well be the name of an Evangelion.
I will say,
Linguini
I love
01.
Ratatouille. I've seen it so many times. It's like my wife's favorite Pixar movie. We watched it so many times. And every time they say his name is Linguini, I always think, why did you do that? Because like it's such a specific choice. Like nobody else in the movie has like food names.
Right.
He's not Italian. He's not even French. Like,
He's
and
a
it's just like,
liar.
this is Linguini.
I
And
spent-
it's like, why was, like, it feels like something from a previous draft.
Right.
That
Yeah.
just
That
kept
just kept
sticking
going.
through.
Yeah, put name here.
Yeah.
Put less Italian name.
It
here.
also
Linguini.
feels like rude, right? If he was Italian, it would be like a derogatory term you could call
it
Fucking
someone.
feels like, and
spaghetti
the fact
over
that
it.
they made him kind of like gangly and like noodly, and it's like it feels like a mean nickname,
Maybe it's
and now
named
like his
after him.
real name.
It does feel meta. Like it's a movie about pasta, ostensibly. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, I guess you'll be Linguini.
They just wanted to make it really clear, like he's not the protagonist.
Right.
We've named him Linguini. The main character is the rat. His
We don't
name
want you
is
to
Remy.
remember his name.
Cool
Yeah.
name. This is Linguini. He's a dork. Don't worry about him whatsoever. Anything that happens to him is not important. The rat's important.
Does the rat also, can they communicate verbally?
To Linguini?
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of like charades and
Or only through like teasing or whatever he's doing.
Well,
up
this
there.
is what's
the
interesting.
mind-body connection.
Linguini does comment on like, you can understand me.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kind of moves past that.
Right.
Where I always feel like if I was in that position, I would have so many more questions. Like, do all rats understand me? Do all animals understand me?
All rats cook.
How, like, do you understand human concepts? Like, do you grieve? Because I grieve.
Do you
like,
grieve?
I'm going
Right.
to ask like this rat so many
You're like
deep
showing him the
questions.
trolley problem.
Is there rat
Yeah.
heaven? Do you guys have a religion?
Do you think
Where
your
are you
soul
guys-
is smaller
Yeah.
or just the body?
Do you like have a system of currency you use? What kind of trade and barter system are you into? And instead,
These
he's
are
just
great
like, "Cool,
questions.
man, come with me. You live in my apartment now."
Do you
Yeah,
want
you
to
live
pull
in my
hair?
brain.
Yeah, it's like if I found out my dog could talk and I just went, "Oh, cool.
Yeah, I just moved on from
Oh,
it.
awesome.
I'll see you
Okay,
later, man.
maybe we'll play a board game together or something."
It would
Like, and
be-
that's as far as my curiosity.
Me
think
went.
talking
if
to my
you're-
dog is basically charades.
I think if my dog started speaking to me, I'd be like, wow, this is so exciting. And then she'd be
Yeah.
so boring.
Yeah.
Be like,
Right.
you heard about Bones? Oh, yeah. No, I
my
bought
dog
them
would just be
for
like,
you.
"I want to sit on you. Can I sit on you? I'm gonna lick your face now." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "I already knew you wanted to do that. You're
And
not
now
telling me
maybe
you
not.
knew."
Now,
Yeah.
you know,
Now it's actually weird because you said, and that's the other thing is Linguini never is like, "And can you talk to me? Why are you fluent in human English?
Are you
but
shy?
you're not saying shit, huh? Rat, what's up?
You
What do you
freak.
know?
Come here.
Can you write? Can you write your name down or
Can
something
you
like?
grow up?
Yeah.
Is it an oversight that Ratatouille isn't the name of the rat? Because
Yes, that's always confused me.
because it is something that I would say a lot of people think. I would hazard to say 60% of people who've seen that movie one
Yeah.
time.
Well, it's like Coco.
Right.
Where Coco's not the name of the boy.
Right.
Coco's the name of his like great
The movie
grandmother.
should be
Right.
called
Zelda.
I'm a boy, but then I'm a skeleton.
Yeah, Skeleton Boy.
Skeleton Adventure
Bone
Boy.
Boy.
I'm so in the afterlife.
Even
Yeah.
I remember
Dead
just
boy.
adults.
Detective.
It should be called Dead,
Dead
Boy.
Boy.
Adults
Dead
talking to me
child comes
about
back.
Dead child, don't worry. Baby shoes never worn.
Yeah. Baby shoes, worn a little bit, didn't fit.
didn't fit, but I guess never worn sounds scarier.
Well, I've
Yeah.
talked about this many times. I think we've talked about it, my brother, me, that like if the rest, you're like, what's the next sentence of that story? Is like, baby shoes, never worn. Baby had 2 big feet.
right. Okay.
Big fat
Like, I bought it, baby was born, big feet, just didn't fit.
Baby-
Nothing sad.
Yeah.
Should have clarified. Nothing sad.
It's
Baby
a-
shoes, feet wrong way around.
Yeah.
It feels like a glass half full situation where it really does depend on your worldview, how you interpret
Yeah.
that. Oh, the baby shoes are never worn.
Never
Amazing.
worn. Thought baby would be more athletic. Doesn't want to.
Lazy
I
baby.
run a shoe distributor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Baby lazy. Baby shoes never worn. Turns out I can't wear these.
Yeah,
Too small.
Baby
way
shoes
too small.
never worn. Had a baby shower. Got 2 pairs. Don't need both.
Right.
Why do baby shoes never worn? Why do babies need shoes? They're not walking.
Baby
I
shoes
don't-
never worn. I realized I don't have a son.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Manic episode. Bought a bunch of baby
Yeah,
shoes. I don't know what I was thinking.
Thought I could put 'em
Amazon
together.
error. I got
Yeah.
2 pairs.
I got baby shoes. Do you need them?
Do you need them? Yeah.
I was in that mood to buy something, but I got too many office supplies already.
I think maybe the weirdest thing that people don't talk about with that short story is that if the story is like, I have these baby shoes and my baby died, and now I'm selling them. I want to make a
That was
profit on
peculiar
this.
Move.
Top dollar, like
Right.
you know, like $5 or
if
best
they're on
offer.
StockX.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
Well, they might have been really nice cakes.
yeah,
you
these
know?
are limited edition Kyries.
One of those
baby
TikTok
shoes.
accounts where they take it into the store and they like
Yeah.
smell the bottom of it. And tap
Baby
it.
shoes never worn. Everyone grieves in their own way. $5
Well.
OBO.
I do
take
like,
it back.
I know what I have, mint condition baby shoes.
Yeah.
It's like an eBay listing.
Yeah. Beanie baby shoes.
Right.
Never worn.
This one's I know a lot of the Beanie Babies aren't worth any money, but this one specifically quite. Yeah,
These are
this
baby
one.
shoes for your beanie baby. Beanie baby shoes.
Beanie Baby shoes.
Baby shoes worn
Rubber
by
baby
famous
buggy
babies.
bumpers. Never worn.
never worn by babies, worn by Beanie Babies.
Yes.
One on each toe. Big feet.
Thought my friend had a baby. It was a dog. I got it
It was
confused. Never worn. Dog shoes, worn a little.
Yeah, worn by a baby.
Yeah.
Long description. It's like one of those Amazon titles. It's like, milk container contain milk, party fun every afternoon, evening, summer, winter.
Before I knew about drop shipping, I would come upon those things and it would be like men's shirt, gothic, dark, silky or whatever. And I'm like,
Cosplay rainbow.
who wrote this?
Right.
And then I was like, oh, they're trying to hit like all the search terms.
It happens with stock photos as well, which is very fun because you can find a stock photo for just about anything. And I don't remember why, but I was looking for stock photos of someone sitting on the toilet.
Okay.
I think I know one.
Yeah.
Again.
I was potty training myself.
I just bought a new external hard drive and needed to fill it up.
I was like, what am I gonna do with all this space? And yeah, no, it's like
Looking for glossy JPEGs.
potty,
if you
potty
died and
sitting, man, squat, bathroom.
if you died and I found that hard drive, I've got to tell someone.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to spread it publicly. It seems a little disrespectful, but Anastasia, absolutely.
Notably,
tell.
there's
I
no.
assumed you meant like the authorities. I've got to
gotta
tell
stop
them. We got him.
We got
I think I know how he died. He got flushed.
It would be funny if there was no watermark, so I like paid money for like the full download of the stock photos.
Is that me?
Why did he do that?
There's one. Did he? A lot of these are like he like screenshotted the screen and then photoshopped the photo,
Right.
And then say he went to a lot of effort,
A lot of effort
to
to save
get
these.
these man sitting on a
He
toilet
AI
photos.
upscaled them to
Why do the
8K.
men all look so sad too?
They
Why
are
are they all
really-
crying on the toilet?
Oh.
Really nice though, and I will take this.
He's
pretty
photoshopped himself in comforting them. What's
Yeah,
happening?
yeah, that would.
I guess
sounds like
that's
me.
nice.
I'm an
Yeah.
empath, is really the thing.
Wait, what's that behind his back? A knife?
Oh, no.
Oh,
We
there's
got
a whole
him.
story.
We got him again.
Who got him again?
Double got.
Did we introduce you?
I'm Travis.
Travis
Alright.
is here. How you doing?
Explain yourself.
I like that. That's a good sad boys
Yeah,
answer.
you know, here's the thing.
He's weeping.
Sort of feels a little bit like things are coming apart at the seams.
Oh,
is
yeah?
the overall feeling.
Okay. Big relate. I was telling the team before this that I feel that way about myself.
Like
Yeah,
conditionally or just
just
sensationally?
like it. There's like, so I'm pretty good like in a crisis, right,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
like problem solving and everything, and then every so often it'll be like, well, there's like 9 things happening at once right now, where it's like back to back to back.
yeah.
on the 27th, I think, of December, like my water heater busted, rusted out the bottom. I just heard that happened to Anastasia too. Bummer.
Copycat.
And mine was like a 30-year-old water heater. You know, it was in the house when we bought it, and because it would be weird if it was somewhere else when we bought the house.
Right.
Water boiler
it was
never
on the
worn.
roof.
We bought it in. Water heater never
yeah,
worn.
baby boiler. No, that's different.
Yeah, baby boiler never used, thankfully.
I promise. I swear.
Why did we make it?
Shouldn't be used.
But and it like rusted out the bottom and like flooded our basement. It was like a 75-gallon water heater, and we had put in like these like plywood flooring pieces that had like little raised plastic feet so that the concrete would still like dry and all this stuff. And so basically we didn't find it out until it was like above that.
Oh.
And we were like walking around and it was like, okay, well, you have to deal with this right now. And in like 2 hours, they're supposed to be at my in-laws for like my in-law Christmas.
Oh my god.
And so it was like that. And then it's just like one thing, you know, and stuff going on in the world. There was a snowstorm in Cincinnati like 3 days before I came here, and then I come here, and there's like the fires in the
It's a little
Palisades.
apocalyptic for the start of the year.
It starts to feel like there's just so much. And like as far as my life goes, personally, it's like, oh, it's okay. You know,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
happens and it's fine. And I was talking with my friend about this the other day. I was talking with my wife about this too, of like you see in like movies and TV shows a lot where there's like strife and they're just like, I'm not happy. And like blah, blah, blah. I was watching Shrinking with Jason Segel, and I wasn't watching it with him. He's in it.
Sure.
Right.
He wasn't like over my shoulder. Like, what do you think so
What do
far?
you think?
Yeah, any notes?
I'm in this.
Because that really, I mean, when
Here comes a good part.
he's not a fun hang when you're watching his stuff.
No, I can imagine.
Because you can tell if you're not laughing at all the jokes, he gets really moody.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
pause it and explain the joke to you.
Right.
Which,
So like
fine,
Marshall's
I get it.
kind of a goofball, right?
Yeah, you get
this?
it. And he was naked when he turned around. And you could see his dick, and that's funny, right? You
Right.
get it. But
No,
so-
but you didn't laugh. Watch it again.
yeah, watch it again, slow mo.
My cock. Sure.
And there's like a lot of that. Like, I'm not happy, and like that's not how I feel. But
Right.
what I feel like is like, I think I could be more happy. I think that there
Yeah.
could be steps taken.
And is
Right.
that a achievement or a failure, right? Because it may be fun to see, oh, and there's even more on the horizon, or oh man, I haven't even reached the horizon yet.
Well, see, that's the thing is I think that there's definitely like a trick to it
Mm-hmm.
of like I'm one of those people who thinks like, you know, listen, life it's finite, you know what I mean? And so if you're not like constantly thinking about like I don't want to say constantly because it makes it sound like an obsession, but like improving yourself or like
Sure.
finding new things and new experiences and
Just
being
finding
open to
meaning,
things.
yeah.
Right. But then not turning it into like I'm never satisfied and I'm never happy.
Oh yeah.
Right? Of like
Yeah.
finding that balance of like, yeah, man, listen, like, am I open to
Contentment.
new things?
Mhm.
Am I looking for new things? Am
Making it a want, not a need.
Yeah, right. I was like, I like to analyze like where I'm at and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm doing fine. Right. But it's like, is there like something fulfilling that I'm not doing right now? And that kind of thing.
I don't want to over
I relate to
medicalize it, but I mean, we're all relating on the same thing, and a shared trait that we talked about it briefly last night is ADHD.
Yes.
It's something we have.
Also
now.
the-
Man, yeah, dopamine is a
Collaborating.
real some bitch.
The single we were talking before the show about single focus on a game,
Mhm.
and that feels very ADHD to me. It like activates the same part of my brain where I'd be like watching the TV. I'd be watching Power Rangers on the TV as a kid, and my mom would tell me to clean my room, and I would emotionally not be able to handle
Yeah.
the fact that I was being asked to change activities.
to pivot.
Yes.
It's not even the
Yeah,
activity
yeah.
that's an issue.
What? No, I have to watch
This
Power
is a
Rangers.
What if I
thing-
die?
This is the thing, like when I was a kid, I talked to my mom about, and now like married, I talked to my wife about, of like, if I'm in the middle of like doing like a chore or and you're like, oh, when you're done with that, can you do this? I'm like, please don't do that. Because
Yeah.
like now I'm thinking about that thing and my gears have started shifting of like, I can make a list. We can talk before I get started on the thing. We'll talk about everything that he's done. And I love that. But if I'm like mid doing something, I have to be dialed into it because surprise, I don't want to be cleaning things.
Yeah,
And so I'm either completely dialed in or I'm like, I don't want to be doing this.
But list is nice because then it's like it's kind of like the difference between having a set list that you're going to play,
Yes.
or like it's a double feature and we're watching these tonight, and then you know in the back of your mind like, okay, well, Two Towers and Fellowship, you add those together, that's this long, as opposed
And
to
then I'm
like
done.
done with one movie and like, should we watch another one? I'm like,
I can't do
don't
that.
know.
If we had planned to, I'd be totally down to.
It's time to do the other thing I was going to do right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if this connects for you, but when you were describing the feeling like there's 9 things on top of one another,
Yeah.
that feels like a neighbor of the same feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm already trying to pick myself up out of the mud because things are not going according to plan right now.
Yes.
And now you're adding more,
Well,
wrenches into the plan.
and this is, I've heard like ADHD described before as like, it's like a difficulty to prioritize things, right?
Oh, definitely.
So like one of the reasons that like making lists is a thing, like I'll make lists and then prioritize that list of like, and this is the thing that if I don't get done today, it's a problem. And this is the thing I'd love to get done today, but if I do it tomorrow, that's okay, right? Because if I don't prioritize it, everything feels equally prioritized. And
yes. There's only now, like the default is like now or later.
yes.
And that's why you need to like introduce like an external prioritization so to organize your mind.
Right, because it's like all of these things need to get done.
I think that's the benefit of, because of, everybody can appreciate the experience, but body doubling the experience of having somebody else doing anything shared with you while you do something that you need to do or is productive. I think part of why I enjoy that when it's available, me and Anastasia, we do like, Tuesdays just to share space. I know you guys do that as well.
I occasionally do like body doubling streams where it's just like, I need to get work done. So here I am on Twitch getting work done. Feel free to get work done while I do it.
That's how I film my
writing
videos now.
Yeah, that's true. All the videos on my channel as well.
Just because
Accountability.
it's like helpful to have the accountability.
It's also grounding because like we were talking last night, like issues with like time blindness and just being like, how long have I been doing this? Have I been doing this long enough? I'm sitting here, nothing's getting done. And like having another person in the room is very like, okay, great. There's some kind of like anchor point, there's a constant of like, it hasn't become a big whirlwind of like swirling, like time has passed. I don't know how much, what is going on. It's like, I could be like, okay, they're still working. So I should still be working.
Is
Me at
this
a coffee
thing a
shop.
big deal that I'm looking at that I've been anxious about?
Right.
Because it's a 2-minute task, but I've been putting it off. I remember for months I had to, a lot of stuff you end up doing with a visa is basically just things you've done before, but iterating on it. And one of them, I had to send them an updated resume, including Sad Boys now, like the length we've done it, and elaborating on like, well, now we have a Patreon and it's blah, 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 and like giving stats and context. And part of it is, the more negative associations you have with the thing, the more difficult it is to start that momentum. But also it's just a very boring task. And I knew that technically it didn't have to be done yet. And I ended up doing it with BB. Just came around.
My daughter?
This episode is sponsored by Squarespace.
2025 is going to be the year of the hustle, the grustle. Thanks to today's sponsor, Squarespace, you can go from an idea to a complete website in under an hour.
And the new design intelligence tools make it very easy to create that dream website or online shop and maintain it.
Whether you're just creating a site or a full shop to sell products and services, Squarespace has the templates and tools to make that a breeze. You can upload your content and customize it to your heart's content with Squarespace's Fluid Engine Editor.
When opening a shop, use Squarespace's integrated payment system so you can offer your customers the most popular payment methods.
And if you need a starting point, they have tons of stunning professional templates with drag and drop editing that makes site design incredibly simple with no coding required. Don't be like me.
Start building your dream website today and get a free trial over at squarespace.com/sadboys.
And when you're ready to launch your site, use promo code SADBOYS at checkout for 10% off your first purchase.
Yeah, honestly,
she's
dumb as a
cool, man.
brick, dude.
Yeah,
Did
she's
not
cool,
enjoy
man.
the hangout. Like something of a
that's
Jason
fair.
Segel.
Barefoot for
She's
some
actually
reason.
cold.
she's actually wicked smart.
Oh,
8 years old.
BB shoes never worn.
BB shoes, never
Too
worn.
smart for shoes.
Nah, she's 8 years old. She's like, okay, I like
smarter.
Not probably. But to interrupt, one of my daughter's favorite things is like she likes like science and explainer videos and like videos about animals and stuff, and she'll like retain them. And so every so often, like at dinner or something, like we'll get a surprise lecture on like the history of wolves in Yellowstone National Park. And my favorite is one day, like we have this thing called Kitchen Helper, right, where it's like a little thing that they can climb into to like reach the counter and everything.
Oh, cool.
And she was standing in that, and this is like last year, and she just turns and goes, "You might think that all bacteria is bad, but actually the bacteria in our stomach helps us process and digest food.
She popped into frame like
and
resource.
and I was like, what is happening?
I just memorized a SciShow video.
She was totally just giving me like a bespoke,
I love
like
that.
science YouTube, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool.
How are you making
What's
background
happening?
music?
Great, okay, cool, dude.
Yeah, it's weird. You're on a green screen all of a sudden.
This is production
And she
values.
dropped into full presenter voice
That's
and
cute.
hands and head. And
That's
everything. I'm
awesome.
Like, okay, cool, man, great.
I
awesome.
love
I
that.
wonder how much of a influence that is on like, because I was a horrific student, and a big reason was that if it was a class or a topic that I was excited about and a teacher that I was engaging, then
Yes.
I'm in. I'm maybe a little too obsessive about it. But any of the resources I was watching for entertainment were pretty much only. I was watching like game trailers top 10s, right?
Yes.
And if you wanted me to engage with media like that or learn those like off rip or memorize the top 10, the order of the top 10 worst video game movie adaptations, which includes Blood Rain, of course, and concludes with Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I believe. Something like that.
Yeah.
I've seen something
Just like
similar.
hypothetically.
No, I'm agreeing
no,
with
I'm
it.
like-
yeah.
I'm
Who
like
was the
Jackson,
narrator?
Joe.
Brandon
Brandon Jones.
Jones. That guy's voice, I've never had a more comforting narrator.
Incredible.
Since.
He has a different, also pleasant voice in person.
But
Just also nice.
I also think, because this is the thing that I think about and talk about with people a lot, because screen time is like a huge thing in parenting and talk about. And I think that the problem is like people give an extra weight to certain kinds of like knowledge and information and not other ones. And the point that I've made like to my wife about it is like, my brothers and I grew up watching a lot of TV, a lot of movies, playing a lot of video games. And now we are people that have a podcast where we reference that kind of thing a lot. We play video games on stream a lot. My brothers, were video game journalists for a long time. And it's like, so all of that information ended up being very useful to us in a way that like algebra, I don't use all that often,
Right.
but my reference to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Saturday morning cartoons is a thing I reference a lot. Right. And so it's like, yeah, man, listen, if she had expressed interest or something of like, she wants to be, a professional dancer when she grows up or whatever, and then we just sit her down with an iPad. Yeah, man, like we're not engaging in that interest. But if it's like she loves science videos and loves learning about like how the world works and space and that's what she most often chooses to watch.
Yeah.
And
Unacceptable.
I'm like, sick, bro. Go
We
for
are
it.
watching Joseph Anderson's 6-hour video about The Witcher 2. Where are you? Sit down right now. Yes, the door's
How
locked.
about this H-bomber of a guy video?
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Hey, come back. Hey,
Can you
you're
believe the
not paying attention.
plagiarism?
And meanwhile, my like 5-year-old is like, I'm really into Paw Patrol. I don't know what to tell you. And I'm like, sick, bro.
That's actually going to be my personality. I'm going to be a Paw Patrol podcaster, a podcaster, so to speak.
But then she'll do this thing in the same like kitchen helper where she'll pose inside it like it's a TV, like it's a screen, and start presenting like slime videos or toy videos, and then say, "Don't forget to like and subscribe." And I'm like, I love that. Thank you.
It's funny because, like, I think that by virtue of the social internet, we've over intellectualized a lot of just things that happen. Like, everything has to have like a nefarious meaning or whatever.
Or
Like-
intellectual superiority to it. It
Or like
cannot
those
be-
kid toys where it's like vlogger kit, and it's like you can pretend to be a vlogger, and everybody's like, "This is what society. We used to pretend to be scientists."
This
It's
is
like,
a black mirror.
relax.
This is a mirror that's black.
But it's like this is a thing I talk about a lot when it comes to like screen time, right? Of like when people are like in our phones all the time and on our tablets all the time. It's
mirror.
like, yeah, but people used to sit and read the newspaper to ignore their family. People used to sit and read books to ignore their
Yeah.
family. Used to turn the radio on so you didn't have to talk to your family.
It's
like,
crazy that-
always
Placing like a
been
value
thing.
judgment on those things.
They weren't
when-
looking at the stock market for only practical reasons.
Right.
It was something you could exclude other people from because, well, I'm the informed party. I'm the man of the house. This
Yeah.
is what I do.
I think it's about, and listen, I'm no scientist, I'm no doctor, but
Oh, don't
how
say
you
that about yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to think of myself as a scientist doctor, but
multi-hyphenate.
Dr.
but-
Scientist, we need your help.
yeah, but I think it's like the same as any tool. It's like how you engage with it, right? So like if my kid's watching Paw Patrol and I'm sitting next to her, I'm like, and which one is that? And what's their specialty? Okay, why are they so that? Oh, this is that Mayor Humdinger is up to no good again. Why don't they just arrest him?
They should shoot him.
They should keep him out of Adventure Bay.
Are any of them open carry?
One of them's rabid. That's a real issue
Sick 'em.
in the show, but it only comes up every like third episode. But like that idea of engage with it, right? Or if my daughter wants to tell me about like the science video she watched, I'm like, yeah, dude.
I feel like the
go for it.
engagement's so valuable in comparison to like the iPad as a tool to pacify.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm no parent, and obviously, like,
Hey, don't sell
Come
yourself.
on, don't say that about yourself.
Hey,
You're a doctor also.
but
you're a
but
doctor parent.
I'm a doctor, parent, scientist, and the thing though is that I also
I'm no parrot. Looks like on.
I also empathize with like if parents like don't like I was kind of raised by TV out of necessity, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because I had if
Tell me
my
about it.
parental figures, he was raised by the TV, which is looking out the window nonstop.
Yeah.
If I'm like my caretakers were at work, you know, and I had to just like find ways to
Right.
entertain myself, and I don't think that that's bad. You know, it's like circumstantially, like who cares? But I too have like found so much value in, you know, I first learned about supply and demand from RuneScape when I was like 12.
Yeah.
And that game has such a like modeled real economy that I earlier today was looking at like graphs and charts of like the sale numbers of like the sale volume of certain items to decide if I should invest my digital currency in
It is
one versus the
transferable
other.
skill.
And I'm
yeah.
like, okay, but I do remember having arguments when I was a kid about like having to get off the game, and I'm
Right.
like, no, I can't turn it off
Wait.
right now. You don't understand.
Well,
know
but
that-
I think that's the thing, man. It's like, here's the secret to like parenting is I'm not to parenting, but about I think any kind of discourse about it is the same as like a lot of things where it's like if someone tells you they have the answer, they're selling you something or they're trying to get you to subscribe to their thing or whatever.
Right.
Because every kid is different, every parent is different, and there is no easy answer. So it's like, I do think letting your kids engage with creativity and have like media that they consume that you've monitored, right? That you know what it
Yeah.
is and it's fine to consume, letting them do that because I think that's part of, you know, imagination and them playing with it and then having limits on it as well. And like, there's things like, you know, making sure that they have gotten enough exercise that they'll sleep well, right?
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
I
So
do
it's
think-
all important. It's
Yeah,
just
definitely.
not like if it's 30 minutes a day, you've nailed it, right? Or
Right.
no screen time is better, right?
I
Right.
think I mean, we both have the same experience of it. The parent is at work, and I am pacified, but by my choice, right? I could do anything during that time.
Sure.
Maybe I'll watch Jeremy Kyle, the worst show ever made. It's like Maury if you're boring and British. Guilty. But there is
Boring and British? That's a joke. I love British people. They're great. They're not boring.
No, it's all
As
right.
a whole, they're more interesting. And...
I don't.
You don't like British people?
Nah, I don't like me. The
Oh,
rest of them
wow.
are pretty
hey,
good.
let's cancel the rest of the show and dial in on that.
No, actually, no, I'm cool. I'm like
I think you're very
I'm like the
interesting.
John Wick of
Yeah.
being Travis to some
Okay,
extent.
cool.
Like
I
one
like the
level
Travis of
above.
being John Wick. Yeah.
Oh, you killed all those guys.
Well, with kindness.
With kindness, yeah.
Which is what I call my sword. Right.
Your family blade, sweet,
Mhm, it's called
sweetie.
kindness.
I do. You
They
know
killed
that
my
like
dog, which I call Jordan. What's up, gang? It's your boy Jarvis and Jordan here.
I'm Jordan.
We just recorded a Sad Boyz Nightz that you can check out. Anastasia and I, we watched a bunch of Super Bowl commercials, some old commercials. We talked about some maybe good things that AI. Who knows?
We went on a wild
We
journey,
went on a wild
if I'm being
journey.
honest.
Yeah. And also, so you can get that for $5 on Sad Boyz Nightz for all of the Sad Boyz Nightz. There's 100 episodes, 100 years. And then on the free Patreon, you can check out our mailbag this week. We opened a bunch of fan mail and had a grand old time.
Yeah. Also, happy Valentine's
And Jordan's
Day.
there for that. And also happy Valentine's Day. So Jordan's there for the mail, except for a couple where Anastasia filled in because we record them on different days. But anyway, enjoy Jordan and Anastasia over on the Patreon, patreon.com/sadboys. Get into it for money or for free. There's content for both.
Plenty of content.
what's that phenomena of when kids like experience? Oh, when growing up, there's just so many, so much like dread or anxiety that the rushes of cortisol do have like a permanent impact on your development to some
Mhm.
extent. Like, I know we sometimes both will panic about things that no longer have impacts on our lives, but more often than not, did at some point or
Yes.
were something we were worried about. And then, I mean, I imagine that the inverse is true, where getting to experience passion when you're very young builds the framework for what passion
What-
is.
And that's the thing too that I've come to realize in my experience of like raising kids is that it isn't like a traceable like pattern. It's more of like that painting. And I reference this painting so much that someday I'll learn the name of it. But the one where it's all the dots and the people like in the park.
The Ferris Bueller painting?
The Ferris Bueller painting.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Oh, is it called Sunday in the Park with George?
Is it called Sunday?
Wait,
Okay.
let's pull it up.
Who the fuck is George?
That's the play. Yes, that one. Yes, Sunday in the Park with George. Yes. And so like this idea of like it's that, right? It's all so much little points of data, right?
Yeah.
That until like way later, you won't know what the picture is, right?
Oh, it's Sunday.
Like,
Okay, so that was the name of the musical. The painting is called a
Sunday afternoon on the island of La Grande Jatte.
George Seurat's the painter.
Okay,
and it's-
so,
And so like I was thinking about, my kids are both in school now, and so like school mornings are like, we got to get them to school, we got to get out the door, right? And it's like, okay, but will my kids remember the stress of being late, or am I making being late stressful?
Right.
Because like, are they going to remember, like in general as a whole, going to school mornings were always stressful, right? Because we're so worried about getting out the door. And it's like that kind of thing of like, I don't know, man, like we do have to get out the door, we do need to get to school, but is there a way to do it that isn't like getting somewhere on time is inherently stressful and anxiety inducing?
yeah, consequence as opposed to like positive reinforcement for some. And also, I mean, we talked about it a little bit last night. We're not punctual, but we do care about it.
Right.
And you're 20 minutes early or you're 10 minutes late, right? And I don't want to make any assumptions about the mental health or potential issues that, like, if I had a child, they might encounter. But if, as they get older, their ADHD or their physical wellness or the depression or their anxiety does like become a prohibiting factor in their day to day, I don't want to have been the cause of valuing arriving on time objective and be like, if you fail at X or Y, if you are not productive in a day, if you don't get your homework done, you are less valuable, as opposed to if you don't get your homework done, you're going to have some issues.
BB, we had BB evaluated when she turned 7 for ADHD, and she's been diagnosed with ADHD, and it's like, working with a great, we call him brain doctor, right? There's a brain doctor. It's like, you go to a doctor for your body, go to a doctor for brain, you
Doctor
talk to her.
scientist,
It's
brain
great.
doctor parent.
And she is my daughter is so much like me, and not like me when I was a kid, like me now.
Right.
And it's the closest I've ever felt to like a movie where your older self travels back in time to try to fix something with your younger self.
Right.
Where I'm just like, all right, bud, I'm going to reevaluate like the way I would tell you about this thing based on like my experience having been told that thing. And like what I know now about it, but through the lens of like telling an 8-year-old about it, right?
Right.
And so like there's a thing with ADHD, rejection sensitivity. It's like a big comorbidity to it. And the simplest
You don't have it.
Dude,
my
That's me
simplest
rejecting
metaphor
the
for
idea of
it
it.
is like this
I've
feeling.
talked about it a bunch.
Yeah, right?
But
Of
go
like
ahead.
when you hear someone laughing and your first thought is like, they're laughing at me.
Right.
That idea of like, you find out 2 people hung out and your assumption, like without even thinking about it, is like, they decided not to invite me. Right. That kind of thing. And so one
It's
day.
them and their mother.
Right.
Like, so
Right.
you're like,
Exactly. Or it's
okay.
just like, no, we ran into each other at this thing, like, and you didn't invite me. Like, we weren't planning to hang out. And it's like,
Yeah.
I see.
All right.
And so
I'll say.
Or just joking around with friends, like in high school, I would end up the butt of a joke that was meant in a lighthearted way, but I would
Yes.
like shut down.
yes.
'Cause
Because then
I
you're
was like-
thinking about it for like 6
I was
hours.
like,
of,
actually, all my friends hate me, and I'm just gonna like sit aside and not talk. And now everybody's thinking about how I'm not talking.
Right.
And that's actually happening because I've done something
I
weird.
mean, I guess it's kind of self-manifesting, right? Like if
Right.
you do.
Yeah.
But as a kid, yeah.
And
I
so one
suppose
day,
it's-
like my daughter came home and she was like 6, I think. And she had said like, yeah, I feel like the kids at school are laughing about me sometimes. And I said, have they said something? And she was like, no, but I hear them laughing and I think it's about me. Right. And after my heart stopped breaking,
Oh.
the thing is she's great, right? Like I'm, I'll ask her teachers and stuff. And if my kid was a turd, I'd say it. But she's great and kids love her. And she's very like conscientious and very like emotionally intelligent and everything. And so like
non-turdy.
what? Non-turdy.
Non-turdless.
No. And I've never like seen her interact with someone and thought, oh, that kid's annoyed by her, right? And so my initial thought was to say like, no, you're great, right? Everybody loves you. And I was like, I don't think that's helpful. And instead, like the way I went was like, I don't know. I don't know what's in their mind. I don't know how they feel about you. But the fact is, yeah, man, there are people who aren't going to like you. And there are people who are going to like you. And the expectation of like, it's about making everyone like you will never work. I said, it's like, if you have a favorite food and someone else doesn't like that food, it doesn't make that food bad.
Right.
Right. It's not that you're wrong for liking that food. It's just that you like that food. And
Even
they
if some
don't.
people maybe do present it like some people might gatekeep something arbitrary,
Right.
Because it makes them feel good. But I think maybe with the rejection sensitivity, I feel like a part of it. For some reason, it's not a bigger thing for me anymore. But I think that was a specific medication change which has its negatives. It makes me drowsy, but net positive. I think there's an element of assuming authority on the part of those people laughing at
Yes.
you, like.
Well, they know.
If I play like a fighting game and I lose, I never picture like a nerd fighting me. I picture the coolest guy in
Yes,
the world
right.
being like, oh, he's probably laughing with all his friends right now.
Right,
And it's
exactly.
3 a.m. on the East Coast. There's no way he's hanging out with anybody. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
And it's some 12-year-old you could totally take.
I'll kick the fucking shit out of them.
Yeah, you could
I'll do an
beat
air
that
combo on
12-year-old
them.
up so bad.
I will
yeah.
wave
And you know
Korean
what?
wave
You
dash.
should.
You should steal his shoes.
Yeah, there you go.
Adult
These
shoes
have been
taken.
these have been
12-year-old shoes stolen.
defeated.
free to a good trophy.
Loot.
And
Child shoes greatly missed.
And the thing is I think that sometimes it's easy for me to think about it in terms of either everybody likes me or nobody likes me, right? And that's the feeling that I'm riding between of like, I'm riding high, I feel like I'm in a great place, everybody likes me. Or, oh no,
Yeah.
I said like I misspoke to one person, so that must mean everybody hates me. And trying to like, instead of thinking about it that way, be like, okay, cool. Maybe focus on the people that do like you.
Yeah.
Right. And be like, oh, I'm not this person's favorite. This person doesn't like me. And that's okay.
Maybe we
Also-
could extrapolate that out to YouTube and anything
Yeah,
similar.
but
right?
the thing one of the things that stuck with me from therapy is like when you have that feeling of, oh, this person doesn't like me, it's like if you don't know this thing as a fact,
Mm-hmm.
there's no point in adding that to the canon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's kind of self-involved to some degree, right?
yeah, because it's so natural just to be like, oh, they're laughing at me, and then to just make that a part of your identity, but that could not even be based on truth, and so then you start to build from that foundation, and that can go to like a very dark place.
I also think along those lines that everybody, I think, at least in my experience, has a tendency to interpret other people's behavior and choices through their own thought process.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, well, I said this thing and they reacted that way. And if I reacted that way to something, it means this. And
Right.
so that must be how they feel about it. Or like, when I send emails or texts, there's so many exclamation points
Yeah,
that I know
exactly.
that I want the person to know I'm excited. Okay. Exclamation point is different from okay. No, it's
Right.
right. And to assume.
Anastasia and I always give Anastasia a hard time jokingly because like I have to go through a translation in my head sometimes when I receive a text from Anastasia. If it's just like okay, I have to go, that's Anastasia going okay, instead of if I were doing it, it'd be like okay, parentheses, I hate you and I want you to die.
Well, transparently, you did that yesterday, but in the most reasonable. I said last time, like, because we normally start recording at 11, like, oh, we're starting 10 today. I just texted to the group chat, just starting at 10 tomorrow, right? And Anastasia, you replied just yes, I believe. And I don't usually get concerned about that, but Anastasia, historically, we just have never ever had any kind of conflict or tension. And I went like, the time has come. I've failed in some way. I shouldn't have. I'm such a stupid idiot.
I shouldn't have to ask. I should have just known.
I should just go there now.
Right.
Stupid.
And the problem is, this is another self-fulfilling thing, is like every so often, something like that will happen. And I then will be like, hey, I should have known. And they're like, okay, thank you for saying that. I'm like, I was right. Then it's like,
I win.
oh no, it's proved so
Right.
much of my thought process because I did interpret that correctly.
And that's the one you hold on to
Yeah,
forever.
right.
That's the case study.
It's the critic I like our self-critic, at least for myself, I'll say, is a propagandist that is only looking for evidence in service of its own selfish goals.
And it's so good at it.
Right,
It's a very good, well, bad but good PR manager for feeling bad.
Right, because there's no like defense attorney. It's like the prosecutor, and there's like you have to be your own person to say, oh, actually, all of these posters on the walls of your mind saying these things are false. Like this is a all this evidence is cherry picked.
Your Honor. Oh,
Well, that's
they're right.
Sometimes I have to like remind myself, by sometimes I mean quite often, of like someone liking me isn't like a checked box. And then it's like, so that's accomplished. And now I have to worry about people I think don't like me.
Right.
It's like, no. It's not like, okay, this person likes me. Okay, so I don't have to think about that anymore. I need to focus on the people. It's like, no, what if we focused on the people that like you?
Right, exactly.
And it's like, or focus on the people that like you are interested in liking you, that like you want to talk to and you want to hang out with, and like whose opinion you value and everything. Is like, oh yeah, that's much healthier. That'd be way better. Thank you every so often, Travis.
Right. Easier said than done. It's like one of those things too, though, that if anyone's listening to this, practice.
Thank you.
And if you've turned off by now, we get it.
No, of
Yeah,
course.
understandable.
We look too sexy.
Blah, 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 blah.
But
mental health,
practice
mental
can be
health,
really valuable for something like this. Like, truly, just it's a muscle to like. For me, like going down into these really like dark depths of despair. Sometimes you have to like go all the way down, and then you learn. And then
Sometimes
maybe the
you
next
gotta
time
go through hell to get to heaven.
And then sometimes
last
you go
job.
down 75%,
Last job.
75% of the way, and you like are able to stop yourself.
Yeah.
And it still feels bad, but you like can't kick yourself. It's like you want to, and I do. It's like happened, but like you're best served to say, I actually am making progress, even though it doesn't feel like it.
That's the
Because
permanent.
You're
upgrade
shortening
to-
that. You're shortening the journey that you're taking down those depths to eventually be able to have the stimulus. Like the goal would be the stimulus happens that would send you down to the depths, and you're actually like you stop the bullet.
It's like playing like Dark Souls or a similar game where like every time you die, you are losing the resources you had in that portion, but you've permanently upgraded your sword.
It is a Dark Souls boss. It is
Yes.
exactly because you were
You're just
literally
grinding.
it's the someone's laughing at you is the Dark Souls boss, and then you fight the boss and it kicks your ass, and then eventually you can be laughed at and you're like, actually I know how to perfect parry all of these.
Right.
Calluses
Processing is a skill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you get better at.
Yeah.
Where you're like, why do I feel this way? What do I think about this? Right. Where for a long time I was like, coping is the skill I'm working on.
Right.
So if I start to go into a depression cycle, I know that if I do these 8 things, I'll feel better. And I remember, like, I would talk to my wife about this because it's like she will process her emotions. I was like, yeah, but what are you doing to make yourself feel better? You feel better. And she was like, well, I need to get through this. I was like, okay. And then, like, I was talking to a therapist and I was like, yeah. And my wife said this and I do this. And then my therapist was like, and at what point do you, like, feel the feelings you have? And I was like, man, I'm wrong. I thought I was right and I'm wrong.
But I have this storage unit full of all these unprocessed feelings.
No, but you don't understand. When I start to feel bad, I decide not to anymore.
Right,
and it's
right.
fine. And it's like, yeah, no.
Come on.
I'm like, I'm
Doctor,
hearing it.
Interesting.
they're locked away.
You don't understand. And then I just get a
some kind of
bigger
idiot?
box.
Right.
If I was sad, how come it's hard to get out of bed?
Yeah, you don't
Dumbass.
understand. I was sad, and then I played a video game, and now I'm not sad anymore. Fixed it.
Yeah.
Fixed it. Yeah, no, I've been drinking.
I
Of course.
ate
Yeah, no. I have bad dreams. It's hard to sleep. Yeah,
You were in
but,
and you were yelling at me.
but I had a perfect run on Stardew, so
Yeah.
guess I'm doing.
I had
okay.
a Kit Kat, and so in this moment, I am perfection.
Yeah, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. Sometimes I will go in with because I've known my my psychiatrist for a long time, I guess like 7 years or so, and he is kind of the thing I like the most about having. I guess any clinician applies, but specifically with a psychiatrist, is he's almost like an automatic diary. Like I see him every month or every other month, and then I go in, I say something, he's like, you said this before, and every time he says that, I'm like, that's completely right, but I have this little hit of like, yeah, but now I'm fucking right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like he didn't, previous me didn't know anything. I've done like the tests this time to check.
Man, what I found, and this tells you a lot about my personality. One of the things I like having most about a therapist that has also been beneficial is that I want to solve the mystery of what I'm going through before she does. And so I'll start talking and be like, it's probably this, isn't it? And she's like, it is. And like that to me is like, one, feels really good that I figured it out, but it also makes me figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, and I'm saying it, I'm talking. And, you know, as I'm hearing myself say it, it sounds like what I really need to do is this. And she's like, I think you're right. And I'm like, I got that.
Yeah.
And it's like, but if I hadn't been sitting there, like kind of making myself be honest about what I was feeling and what I was going through and talk about it, I wouldn't have gotten there on my own.
Yeah. I'm guilty of that as well. But the one thing that the trap I've fallen into is using that as a substitute for actually doing the work.
Yes.
Like if I've identified the problem, so I've solved it.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah, but I like a lot of times it ends up being like, oh, I need to like feel the feelings, or I'll say like, well, I'll intellectualize it where I'm like, well, I know I shouldn't feel this way because blah blah blah, but then okay, well, stop, actually feel the feelings. There's not like you can't logic yourself out of the need to feel feelings.
But feeling feelings feels bad, I think, is the problem.
Right.
This is the thing,
The
right?
feeling
Of
I
like-
was feeling was supposed to be the other feeling.
Yeah, it's honestly, and it's a joke, but I would have told you like 8 years ago, 10 years ago, like I'm very open emotionally and I do that. And then realizing it was like, no, I understand my feelings, right? But I will sometimes have a hard time be like, and so I'm just supposed to sit here and feel this.
Yeah, what
and
does
then
that
what?
mean?
And do what with that?
Yeah.
And how does the like it's the same reason I can't like take a bath. Because I get in the bath and I'm like, now what?
Right.
Now I just sit here and relax.
What, I live in the bath
This
now?
is done. How long do
Yeah.
I need to sit here before I'm done? There's no timer here.
Right.
Everyone's laughing at me, I bet. In Big Bath.
Yeah.
The Big Bath industry.
What now? What
That-
am I done?
That's such a relatable feeling, I think. For me at least. I'm sure for a lot of people.
I think the dilemma of like, I wear my AirPod in the shower. Is this insane?
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, I think a lot of the time people do talk about sitting with your thoughts, and that's part of it, but it's just sitting. It's
Yeah.
the shark dies when it stops swimming
Or-
sometimes, and I just don't want to get in the shower because it's a moment away from momentum.
The
you know?
description of like my therapist will describe, you know, like single pointedness or like a single point of attention, and will describe what practicing that means, and it sounds like a deep layer of hell. It'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, chew your food and just be in the moment with like chewing and chew
Like
slowly.
mindfulness, yeah.
Mindfulness, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
That is very inefficient.
So I remember, like, so I practice Zen stuff, and like mindfulness walking has always been hard for me. Where it's just like you're walking and you're thinking about like putting your foot down, right, and the way the air feels and everything. And it's like because I have ADHD, it's like I'll start that, and then it's like, okay, am I thinking about this right? Am I thinking enough about my foot? And it's like, oh no, now
You're
I'm
like
thinking
the
about thinking about
director
it.
in your brain,
Yeah,
yeah.
come back. You've gone too deep.
yeah.
Like being
Give him
on-
the kick. Bring him back.
When you haven't been on the first kind of times being on camera, and you're like, what do my hands do?
Right.
Right, I'm taking a walk, but should I be self-conscious about how long my strides are? Am I doing it right?
So one of the people that like I like studied Zen from at Cincinnati Zen Center. Check it out. If you're in Cincinnati, I guess.
They missed an opportunity to call it Cincinnati.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's a wine thing. I think that there's
Well,
probably a winery that does
I'm sending them a
Zinfandel.
cease and desist.
But he was
But we
like,
are suing you, yes.
because I was
Yeah.
telling him like it's hard for me sometimes to just like sit and meditate because I have ADHD and I think about stuff. And he
Yeah.
was like, well, you know, like you can't stop your lungs from breathing. You can't stop your heart from beating.
I
You
can do
can't
it.
stop your stomach from digesting.
I could do
Right.
it.
Right? You
Easily.
can't, your brain thinks. That's what it does. You can't stop your brain from thinking. So instead, and trying to stop it thinking will cause that. And he's like, instead, just like let the thought come up, acknowledge it, and then let it go.
Yes, that's the trick. Like when I
At any point, are we going to talk about the topics that are on the TV, do you think? Or
Maybe
is that just a
we'll-
suggestion?
think
We
I
do
was
whatever
gonna
we want.
hard pivot us to one of them.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I
don't
Enough
know.
about emotions and stuff.
That's literally how I'll transition it.
I do. So I don't know how I came across this thing. On the topic of Zen mindset, which, of course, myself, I also practice by trying to learn the speed run for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. And a lot of the time it's like, oh, maybe I should do this again. No, wait, I should go to sleep. I'm like, no, I'm too Zen. I'm doing Zen stuff.
I'm in the Zen moment right
I'm
now.
at 5 a.m. Zen, actually. Get off me. I'm not going to bed, Katie. Go away. I'm gaming. The old ball
Leave
and
me
chain.
alone, Mom.
I mean,
Sorry.
that doesn't represent anything. I came across this. I don't know if it was I think it's just my cursed Instagram reels brought me to a pretty fascinating, I would say, master of the Zen arts and perhaps his own martial art, Kai Chi.
What is? Okay, I'm already concerned.
The biggest and most effective telekinesis school on the planet. The most effective one.
This is how does one? Unless it's like I can lift the biggest rocks with my brain, right? Like
Yeah, what are the
It looks like they're
parameters?
running away from us. I also think, how can you wear a white robe in the year 2025 and
what is
with a hood on it?
in general, also, if this school takes place in the woods, even just from a practical standpoint, a white robe is not it should be. It's going to show so much dirt.
You're so
Yeah.
quick and effective.
Also, just look at that underbrush.
Yeah.
You're going to get snagged on so much.
Whoa,
Wait a minute.
Ross,
Wait a
hold
minute.
on. I had a-
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
So-
Huh?
You
Wait
guys are
a
seeing the
minute.
same thing as me, right?
Wait a minute. Is this a Jesus-based telekinesis school?
Well, until he walked into a glade and discovered 2 crucifixes.
3.
Crucifix?
There were
Yeah, there's
3.
a tiny one on top of the other.
No. There's 3
One
in
in
a
the
row
back?
because it's the 2 thieves and then Jesus in the middle.
That seems like, I gotta say, I didn't grow up religious. That seems like, on the behalf of the Romans, a bit of a miscalculation because you've got Jesus Christ, guy from the Bible, you remember, and then the star of the Bible. Then there's like 2 fucking
You
guys.
introduce 2 characters right at the end, and you're like,
Doesn't
I'm
make any
supposed to
sense.
care about these
Are they
guys?
supposed to be in the
Wait.
Third Testament or something? But this
We-
guy just revealed. I did not know this was religious.
We immortals are
immortals-
the new humans.
The human superioris.
Okay, now listen.
That's
Once
weird.
again, just a quick writing note. If you're immortal, you're not new.
That's the most common thing ever.
You can't have just decided you're immortal if you have lived less than a normal human lifespan.
At what point do you know that you're immortal?
I mean, we're all temporarily immortal if you think about it.
right.
It's
I
immortal
think
in the
at
same
some
way a
point-
lobster is.
Yeah, there has to be a point where it's like, a decade's passed and everyone my age has aged and I have not, right? Like,
Right.
and even then you're like, I don't age. Immortality, still, question
Still.
mark, right? I think you have to hit like 130
I'd
before you're
re-
confident.
I'd have to
Yeah.
be. I'd have to be fairly old because for a while I would just be smugly thinking I look great for my
Right.
age.
This is the
And
thing.
then-
Like, imagine you live in a world with like vampires or like immortality really exists, and like you are turned or whatever, and then the person's like, and you're immortal, and you're like, I don't know if I trust that.
Right,
me through
Right?
that a
How
little
do I
bit.
test that in
Yeah.
a way that I'm confident
Are we the
in?
cool kind? But stakes and sunlight, and they're like, oh yeah, I guess you're actually, it's very easy to die in a lot of ways. But this is, I assume Kai, maybe. I assume Kai.
Did they name it after themselves?
I believe so.
Oh, I love that it's a
you.
GoDaddySites.com. They don't even have their own domain.
I'd probably be Jord Kundo, actually. That'd be my one.
You would think
I would
that
just call it Travis.
yeah.
Travis
I'm practicing
Karate.
Travis.
if you were
Travis punching.
if you were immortal, I feel like maybe you'd be around for the .com boom and you'd get a better domain.
Point. Okay, this is not that important to it, but doesn't something feel incompatible between having telekinesis and wearing denim jeans?
Yes.
That seems like you would have
And
transcended
I think it's that
graphic
Super
tees.
Mario shirt. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cool, but I like.
Famously not immortal.
Can you hit play? I want to see.
Yeah.
Within the next 5 years, we will witness a shift like nothing humanity has ever seen.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
This feels like
That was over. What?
this feels like when I was a kid and I used to pretend that I could become a Super Saiyan.
Yeah, but I'm just actually yelling.
Here's the thing that I'll already tell you. First of all, we've all done this,
course.
right?
Oh,
Where you
yeah,
sit
yeah.
there and you're like, all right, this time,
Oh,
come
within-
on,
sure.
come on.
Within last year.
Yeah, right,
sure.
for sure. But here's the thing,
Just in
right?
case.
We live now in maybe the most connected, it is the most connected age
Right.
ever, right? Everyone's got a camera on their phone. Everybody posts everything all the time. You're telling me telekinesis is real and not just common knowledge, that that's
Right.
a thing that happens. And that's to me of like, hey man, listen, you can conspiracy all you want about things that the government are covering. You're telling me that these people could do telekinesis, and there's not just constant news stories and videos about it, like, yeah, it turns out
Because
they can do it.
the one time that someone convinced people that they could do it, they were on every television show and then they were immediately outed as a fraud.
Right.
It was
That's the
Uri
thing.
Geller.
Uri Geller did a lot of damage to. I should mention I am now telekinetic. I haven't tested. I'm telekinetic in Immortal, but I'm shy and I don't
Yeah.
want to do it publicly or privately. I haven't done it. But there is a. Oh, we read a book. The idea, you're completely right, because the idea that not a single one of those aviators in the truck with a Punisher logo on the back dads hasn't done a video where he's like, you gotta look out for Nancy Pelosi and the demons and the lizard people. Fucking check this out.
Yeah.
Just
Also, every
lift
one
the
of those,
Budweiser.
like at least of the videos we watched, were like the same. Like it's like clear bottles on a white.
If this is the
thing.
best school, I want to see them pick up
Right?
a car.
Where is the thing of just like, okay, cool. We're gonna watch this beginning to end, right? Of just like, okay, cool. But I will also say one of the things that's always now, whenever I see stuff like this, it's always like, how much of this is the person doing it legitimately think that this is real,
Right.
versus like either they're selling a thing or they think it's funny to convince people it's real, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely a tier, ethically speaking, it's a tier, several tiers less offensive to me than like a Hustlers University kind of thing.
Yeah.
This
where it affects
already,
other people negatively.
the unwillingness to invest in a domain just made me think it was like a joke.
Well, this is the thing, right? Of like the things that, so for example, to reference the Cincinnati Zen Center again, is basically free to attend, right? It's like,
Right.
and if you want to donate to like help us pay bills and stuff and keep the thing on, great. But they don't gatekeep it with price at all. So the
Yeah.
second someone's like, I've learned this new thing, and then you're like, it costs money to learn it. Be like, oh, okay, cool. Then you don't believe the shit you're selling.
That's also where if someone's doing a joke, it becomes not a joke when you're actually accepting cash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
It
can you
becomes
scroll
legally
up?
a joke,
Can
I guess.
we select the text under our classes and plug that into a chat GPT checker? Because this is a new thing I do, because a lot of times people will just fill out big blobs of text with an AI because it just makes it look more legitimate. And yeah, you can just paste that in there.
71%. That's a tricky. So maybe generated and then.
Yeah, it does have a high.
Edited.
Now I will say
Well,
I-
so it's got like the name of the book, right? Where it's just like, that's
Yeah.
definitely written by him.
But the
When-
book may have been written by AI. Truth be told.
That's also
if
true.
the book
But
exists.
that's what they want you to think, is that you can't do telekinesis on bottles.
Well, that was because when the guy moved his hand really fast, it's not that it created wind that slightly moved a water
No,
bottle.
that wouldn't make any sense.
No, it was the
Well, and not
telekinesis.
even that. I mean, it's like as soon as you show me a perspective where it's like my view is very limited,
Mhm.
it's like, okay, for all I know, there's someone with fishing line standing there or like a fan or whatever.
Oh.
And it's like, and if they're like, that's not what happened, like, then why did you shoot it?
Do
that
the
way?
And
cool
if that's,
version of
if
it.
that's the extent of your telekinesis, I don't care.
Yeah.
You're not that good at
Like-
You're definitely not the best school.
So
Yeah.
far, what we've seen is people move plastic bottles.
Right, and that's like not helpful to anything or anyone.
And if that's your proof that it happens, then it's like, in
Cool.
what way? It's like if somebody said, we figured out teleportation and you can teleport 1 inch forward.
awesome.
And I'm like, okay. Well,
I mean, that's a
don't-
breakthrough. I guess we should be studying that.
Yeah,
That
and then they're
does-
like, that's the cap, actually. But
Oh,
that's as
no,
far
okay,
as we
but
can
I
go.
think
Doesn't
we're
that feel
done,
like what the
actually.
real world is like? Where
Yeah.
it's like, wow, that's good. We found aliens. Oh, what's going on with it? They're just like, it's like rocks.
Yeah, it's like
Nah.
rocks with germs inside. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean that's
Have the fun one.
I think what we're going to is it Jupiter? I think there's somewhere that we want to. It's like the planet that's all water.
Well,
we want to
boys go there to get stupider.
yeah, that's true. We all
We're
know
gonna
that.
look for like microbial life or whatever,
For
and
boys.
that's gonna be the big breakthrough, and it's gonna be huge for science, but also like, all right, sick.
I'm doing gaming. I don't have time to get
You know,
into science
so
program.
you guys want to hear like a sci-fi concept that I came up with, or
Okay.
just like kind of an like interstellar kind of like gritty real sci-fi thing. If I was going to do it, is and anyone can take this because I'm not going to use it. But the idea of like what it is that the thing that started life on Earth is like we could chain back like other planets that existed, right, and sent out probes and sent out things or whatever, and like the germs and microbes and stuff that were on there crash onto a planet, and then start the like cycle. And then we
fellas.
get to a point where we're sending out drones and stuff and satellites until that satellite crashes onto a planet in like a million years that like can support life. And then life begins there. And it's like all chains back to like some other thing. And so there's only ever one occupied planet in the universe at any point, as they've just been like trying to find other occupied planets, and by doing that creating an occupied planet as their planet has died out. And it's just like that's what keeps the cycle of life,
The
in
desire
the world to try to find other
Sisterhood of the Traveling Genes.
yeah right.
Hey, what's that movie about? They just got pants.
They got pants. They trade off the pants. It's one pair of pants between like 5 girls.
Well,
They
that's
only
their
got the one of
telekinesis
it.
power. They
Yeah.
can make the pants fit.
When
We
you
have the
put
best
when you
school.
put the pants on, you can teleport.
Yeah. Ooh.
I feel like
Teleporting pants.
You
I
can
would-
teleport into the pants.
Yeah.
that movie should, if it does not already, should end with the FBI capturing all of them for experimentation.
Yeah, right. How
For
did
like
you do this?
putting the pants on a super soldier.
Or just the pants standing up at the end, like my work here is done.
They
It's
walk
time
up
to
into
me
the
to move from
sunset.
like pants. No,
They have to get rid of it. Like, we don't love you anymore.
as the pants blow away
Yeah.
on a breeze.
Till fire.
Like until next winter.
Do you ever feel like a pair of pants? It's a Katy Perry special cover. Let's watch the way
Yeah,
of the
Way
blade.
of the Blade.
This is Jordan's future. Oh my god.
Hmm.
This is Jordan in the future.
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah.
This is the Fruit Ninja.
Yeah. Awesome. Obviously awesome.
For the
Now,
audio
wait, hold on.
listener, this
Wait a
is
minute.
essentially a fan cam of I believe a man in his maybe his early 40s.
I'm
somewhere around there.
okay. This is one of those things where I see something like that and I'm like, what was your intention? What was the thing? Because if it's like, I want to show off my cool skills, great. And then there's just a VFX in front of a bonsai tree and him cutting a Mack truck in half or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. How did you want me to feel about this? What emotion were you trying to create within me?
You guys have not studied the
think-
way of the blade, and it shows.
I think awe. I think what's
Whoa!
inspiring me is awe. I do think it's really funny. Yeah, these vitamin water bottles. I haven't seen one like when he does like a horizontal slice on one, and I'm pretty sure it just knocks it out of the way. It actually cut it.
It's really giving like I'm smashing it in half,
Yeah.
not like a clean cut.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, yeah, man, give me a baseball bat and I could do that too, right? Where I'm gonna hit a bottle and it's gonna go what like that is not a clean cut or
Cutting
nothing.
the fruit was infinitely more impressive than
Was that Prime?
That's the one thing he'll never cut.
Whoa.
I'm also gonna tell you, I have not studied the way of the blade. I was busy kissing girls.
I know, me
But
too. Also,
that's a joke. Please, anyone who studied the way of the blade, don't come after me. But
Yeah, that's a
He-
wrong group to get on the bad side of.
he at one point slices and then stabs point down into a table. And I guarantee you, like people who use swords will be like, don't do that.
Yeah.
That is a precision.
It's like when someone
tool.
doesn't have like trigger discipline and like
Yeah.
a gun.
guys, I
Hey,
don't
man.
know how you guys are absorbing the soul of your enemy into the blade afterwards, but it
Is
really
his
sounds
enemy
like
the table?
His enemy is water vessels.
this guy's
Yeah, he
dehydrated.
does. Like,
Oh my god, calm
he,
down,
hates,
man.
he hates hydration.
Oh, that was cool.
okay, that one got us.
I'm in. I'm
That
back.
was actually very cool.
$10 off any
Oh, there's a
katana. Wait,
promo
now
code?
hold on.
Wait, he sells the katanas?
Okay,
There's
will
too many explosions.
historically and
Wait.
whoa, cool. I want to give nothing
No.
but positive feedback to the team. I love you all. You're wonderful to work with, and you're fantastic at what you do. It's we're like a couple of years into the podcast since we all started working together on it, and I have not got like any swords from doing it, and that feels crazy to me.
He is
Like
also,
I appreciate getting sponsorships, but not like I have not once been sent armor of any kind.
He is drinking a lot of soda and alcohol.
Well, I don't think he is.
Because these are
I don't think he has any.
no, because these have all been refilled with water.
Yeah, and the
Oh.
vitamin water too. It's an interesting kind of selection. I
Do you
think.
think he's saying to his friends like, "Hey, when you finish your like 2 liters and stuff, make sure you save them for me. I gotta cut them in half."
Is it
Right.
the sword? Are you doing the sword?
I do have one little fun thing to end the episode on.
Oh, great.
So I need you guys to each choose one.
Whoa.
Choose your blade.
Okay.
All right. There's a S stock. Very good.
Okay.
Shit.
Okay.
I
I'm so torn here. A lot of these I have used in stage combat.
The
I
axe
did-
is a dishonorable weapon.
Well, I've done like Shakespeare shit a lot, and the thing is like that the 2C like two-handed or more broadsword is real badass. Because like you basically don't use it like a sword. It's basically like a big axe.
Is it like
and
this
you
way
can,
and you
like, hold
spin
it.
around?
Well,
and-
so, no, it's more of like you would use it and you never really do that. So you would hold it and then in your other hand, like hold it like this and almost use it like a bow
that's
staff
cool.
at times, and then use the momentum of that to swing it around. So
I think
that's
that-
cool, but it's like you hit with that or you're dead.
I want to be, I want to zag where you think I'm going to zig, but like, let's be honest, if you were to come at me with that weapon, I would immediately have teleported behind you. I would
That's
already
true.
be sheathing my katana.
Yeah.
There would now be two halves of a Travis. You could do a podcast hosted with your legs.
I'm going with 2A, frankly.
my
I'm-
brother and a half man.
I am far too I want to be a musketeer. I want to be like a dandy fop Frenchman in like I would have been in the guillotine so quick of like I want to be 2A, sword on my hip. You've offended my sensibilities.
That is a more realistic version of what happens. I travel back to in time. I live in Kyo, and I'm like, I think I'm going to be like a cool samurai. I would, within 24 hours of joining, protecting the Shogun, I would have tripped.
Yeah.
My sword would have come out of the blade. I beheaded myself.
No, yeah, I would have been approached by a gang of revolutionaries, and you would have heard the loudest "Oh my!" as I'm like, yeah, just
I'm kind
completely.
of maybe this is unpopular. I'm kind of feeling the pike on 4B.
I think effective. I think
I
you're right.
feel like I could do some like cool like things, and then I could also keep my distance.
Mm.
I would, if you were to come at me with that, I would chuckle, push my glasses up again. Now I'm behind you. You didn't even realize, and you fall into a bunch of chunks.
Yeah.
And I host a show with those chunks.
Yeah, I'm going 2A or 3A. I mean, one
Or
of the
I could be like rapier pilled.
What's going on with 3C? What is that?
3C. It looks like it's
looks
like,
like a
It's like a little
flail.
hinged flail thing.
yeah.
Whoa. I'm not proficient in that.
I don't know how to actually use a flail. Obviously,
Seems so risky.
obviously there are flails in RuneScape, so I've seen the animation of them moving, and I just don't get it.
Well, that seems like so much more of a mounted thing, doesn't it? Of like
Yeah.
I'm riding in and coming and hitting, but the idea of like I'm running with a flail, you're gonna knock yourself unconscious.
The horse element definitely, as far as like combat goes, it's very intimidating and scary, and I'm sure it helps. I would be, as the person being attacked, the most effective part would be like, I don't hurt the horse.
Yeah.
I mean, horse is very cool, but also scary. And I would be like, oh, what if I hit the horse with my epic katana and I absorb its soul?
Can we all agree that the worst choice here is either the cane, which I think has some merit,
Maybe there's a
or
sword in it.
whatever is it C4?
Yeah,
is
I
that
do-
like a tiny
just
axe
like-
head on a?
It's kind of hilarious.
So my bet is that is probably something that was like a boarding thing from like pirates or Vikings or whatever, where that would give you the reach. So
Yeah.
like
Specialty
Hook a
equipment
thing
is
and
an
pull.
issue.
That makes
right,
sense.
or you would use it to like mount into a window or something like, or once again horse thing. Because the thing is like you see in movies and stuff a lot of like huge axe heads or like hammer heads on a
Yeah.
thing. But it's like that's not well balanced. It's exhausting to swing.
Right.
So having something like that where you would get the momentum of like swinging it and having the stick to block, and then it doesn't take a big axe head to smash someone's
Right.
head open.
With my pike, I'm definitely thinking I need a wood that like evens out the weight
Yeah.
of like the sort of the blade at the end, because then you can do all of the bow tricks. I could also imagine like a 2A with a 3B sidearm, kind of
Mhm.
like a dual wheel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
like-
Oh yeah. That's
yeah.
definitely what the
Wait,
B
that's
is
a good
for.
point. Is it quantity wise? Can I double up on any of these? Can I
Sure.
Can I have two?
Jacob's,
katanas?
Jacob's like, that is not the rule.
Apologies. I would probably go with the katana simply because I can forge it myself.
Yeah, I'm going
You can
2A.
forge it yourself.
I would use
right?
my oven or something.
All right, here's what your choices say about you.
Oh.
What your favorite one of these says about you. You're choosing the safest option. Maybe a little bit overrated, but it's still a good one.
That's the same.
Is this one your favorite because it's good, or are you just really horny?
Oh,
All right, we get it.
Excuse me?
You like this one. This may not be everyone's favorite, but it's
This
yours.
isn't
and
saying
you're totally
anything
chill
about me.
it. You're into the
doesn't even mention my
classes.
name.
You're old. You're really
Whoa!
old. Your social security number is 2. You are one pretentious
Does that mean
hipster.
I'm old?
Officer,
How
it's
is
this
that one more
right here.
pretentious than the one I
Oh,
picked?
you're cool. I like you.
What?
No way.
guy's a
You
hipster.
actually know that one? Can we be friends? This one's just a phase.
Guy's a
You'll
poser.
grow out of it when you grow up.
Oh, come on, mate.
You will never grow up.
You better be nice.
Oh,
That's
you
a-
picked this one to be different. How clever. If you chose this one, you are a liar. This is no one's favorite.
What did he say? He said it was bad.
He said you're trying to be different.
I like the X one. I like the small X head on
I
the
don't
long
like
stick.
that it said I was ready for it to be like, you're pretentious, you're
This-
oh,
Weeb
you
was-
think you're so great. And then it was like, horny?
That is a weird accusation in any context because you can't really do anything. Like,
Yeah,
is funny
what do you
that
mean?
My social
Of
security
course.
number is 2 when like there weren't social security numbers in the age of this weapon. So yeah.
So okay, well,
I don't think that's based on any kind of scientific fact.
Jacob, this is terrible research. I
It's
don't think you're right.
incredibly scientific.
Okay.
Double blind.
Yeah, Jacob did say it was scientific, so
No, I like your choices though. I think I would have gone with what was the coolest one again? This one? Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
see, that one feels impractical to me. Well, I'm not impractical, but lame.
Yeah, that is getting in the way of it a little bit. Jacob, again, I don't want to be
I'm
arrogant
offended.
about my method. The 3 of you in a line, all of you wielding the weapons, running at me. You wouldn't even see the blade leave its
See, the
sheath.
thing
See, this is why I picked 2A though. I'm not carrying that to kill people. I'm carrying that to look fancy.
You would be
I'm
so
carrying that to
charmed.
look like a gentleman.
I'm not going to kill Travis.
That's the one that I'm carrying, and someone's like, he must be a lord or something.
Right. I'm not running at you. I think that's the issue. I think you're imagining you having to defend yourself. I'm minding my own business.
Why am I attacking you in your fantasy, by the way?
I've been doing
Why are we
stuff.
fighting?
I've been
Just
being
because we
crazy.
have the sword, you're like, oh, Travis and I get swords. We're immediately attacking
Yeah,
each other.
also-
You're going to
with
see
my-
my sword and be like, I want that one.
With my
I would
attack
ask
range,
you for a turn, Jordan.
And I would simply-
wouldn't just take a swing at you to kill you for your sword. Your assumption. Look at my sword. I have honor, bro.
yeah.
I'm a lord.
Well, I have lost my honor, and I am a dastardly Ronin, and I
Then you don't deserve to have that sword, and I'm taking it from you by
This is
force.
absurd.
And I'm keeping my distance, and I can attack you with at least 2 tiles.
I would
of range.
shoot you to death.
Wait, you have a gun too?
I have a gun on the end of it. It
Whoa.
shoots the blade
Guy.
out.
Like,
This
oh,
guy.
I can't. Like Leon?
Yeah, I would actually probably fly over with my jet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, I would choose. You guys can't see it because it's off the screen, but G20, it's a machine gun.
Okay, I
well,
see, I
my
see,
laser eyes are gonna hurt me most. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like
like sort of-
eyes aren't supposed to
you
do
can't
Well,
that.
see.
I have the
Burn
Iron
out.
Man suit. It's F5.
Well, I'm a new immortal.
Oh,
so
okay.
good luck,
Okay, well, hold
idiots.
on. Yeah.
I'm gonna move all your stuff around.
Yeah, I can move a water bottle 2 inches.
While you guys were sleeping, I did surgery and put grenades in your tummies. So
No!
you guys are boned.
Are they with the pin in them?
Fuck. Hey, go back to sleep.
It's like a magnet trying to undo the pin.
Hey, can you cough real hard?
Yeah. Ratatouille.
Yeah,
We died
got
from
it.
just botched surgery.
Yeah.
No, I
Well,
would
this
win
was
them.
fun. Travis, thank you for defeating Jordan in honorable combat.
Would not
You're
happen.
welcome.
Just I'm laughing at the notion.
Taking his weapon, taking his gun, taking it back to your king and reverse engineering it and
Simply wouldn't even
potentially
work for a moment.
bringing
If I'm being honest, I would I would tell him it's fine. I don't
Mhm.
want to fight him. I'd stand down and then slowly over time
Mhm.
enact a very over-prepared, over-calculated revenge plan that ruins him financially, drives
Ooh.
his whole like friend group apart.
I can see you thinking that.
I would get riches from an old man that I meet in prison, and then I come back.
Oh, you went to jail from Gilly?
I did.
You didn't get
yeah.
away with it?
And then I come back because I've escaped
It
and
was
I've adopted
tactical.
a new identity.
right.
And I am now. I've been thinking about it for years, learning Latin, learning the blade.
Your name is now Griffin.
Yeah, something like that. Something really dumb like that. That you don't want to expect. And then I would slowly enact a plan and hopefully not die from like the plague or whatever while I'm
Sure,
doing it.
yeah.
Right. That's the main thing to avoid. The weapon I choose is the plague.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
rat.
the Black Death.
Unhygienic conditions.
Yeah, my offhand is a vermin.
Okay, in that case, you might get me on that one.
Yeah.
That's actually my one weakness.
I've always said like if I travel back in time, I think it would be so easy to be a doctor where you're just like wash your hands. What are
Wash
you
your
doing?
hands.
But then you do that, and they're like, which?
no.
You're like,
There's
Okay,
so
Leech
many
is then.
things that were like, okay. It's like, oh, we'll do some bloodletting. Huh? Sorry, yeah, we're just going to let out some blood.
I don't know. I'm fucking.
Why?
That's this.
I'm
Okay,
wearing the
I
mask?
promise we're gonna wrap it up in a second. But it's one of my favorite things to ask people of like, if you went back in time, what is a like modern thing that you actually think you have the knowledge and skill to create? Because I'm like, I think I could figure out bicycle.
They have to go right now.
I think I could get
Right.
chain figured out and gear figured out and pedal figured out. I think I could do bicycle.
Bro.
I think I'm going to have to go with fire.
Yeah.
I'll go far
in like
enough
the
back.
1800s.
Because everybody's like, I go back into phones, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
how
I
to
don't know
make a
enough
phone
technology
now.
for that.
Dude, easy. I would Mona Lisa.
No, you know what? My actual answer is I would just go build a social network in like 2003.
Okay.
Ooh,
Like
triple steal.
Like post MySpace, pre Facebook, I would like slightly edge them out.
I think I would probably like a Honda Accord.
You think you have the knowledge and skills and
A
abilities.
full Honda.
No, bring it with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, to the
I
1800s.
see you're playing four-dimensional chess.
Alien technology has been discovered in the middle of the city.
Well, I take it back. I don't have a driver's license, so I wouldn't be allowed to drive it. But I'm sure I could find someone.
I didn't assume you were driving it to the past, Jordan.
It's really fast.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen? Okay, I watched a video, Defunctland, not friend of the show, but shout out Kevin.
Defunctland's so good.
The
Friend in
most
Yeah.
recent, we've DM'd
Parasocial friend of the show.
parasocial friend of the show, Defunctland, did a video about the history of animatronics.
Oh yeah,
And
so
it's
good.
an incredible video. But one thing that blew my mind was there were these 1700s. They were like a artist or I don't even or an engineer. They made these animatronic things from the 1700s that could speak any. What was it? They could write. They could
Yeah.
write any letter, and there was like this complicated
and you could like
mechanical.
switch out the stuff in the
you
bottom
could, yeah,
to
because
like
it
program
literally
it
would
what
just
to write.
like it had like a brass like model of every letter, and then somehow it would get the hand to like draw exactly that letter.
So
Can
it
we-
wasn't just like one thing it wrote. It was like you
It
could,
could
almost
write-
like
it
a
was
printing press.
customizable,
You could
yeah.
change it out.
Could
God,
you
I
Google
would
this like 1700s
So much more likely I could make an Accord.
animatronic? I need to.
By far.
It's like so bizarre because we still have it, and it's like in a museum.
Those are my favorite. Of like, I
That's
just
what's
saw
crazy.
a video of like this swan that like if you wound it up, like the neck like swivels around and like moves and stuff, and it looks very
It
realistic.
knows your name.
Yeah, this is the one. This is it.
Oh, it's a boy. It's a little boy.
It's a boy.
It's
This is my son.
It's this boy.
This boy. He
This
says it with
boy.
such disdain.
Yeah,
This
the boy looks up at him and he's like,
Yes.
"Hey, fuck you."
Jesus. It's this
I'm a
idiot
robot.
boy.
Yeah, this.
Whoa.
It's crazy. Like the amount of like mechanical knowledge and know-how. It was like, I feel like it's a lost art, or it's at least a deprioritized art.
I guess
I
the
think
clock
that's it.
would be
Because we
the
just
one.
don't put like, because everything kind of went computers, right?
Well, and it used to
Look
be
at that
like
boy.
that if you were a king or a rich dude or whatever, and you're like, I just seek entertainment. Here's a bunch of money, make this thing
Yeah.
for me. Where now it'd be like, what's the market in the? You think everyone's gonna buy a writing boy? Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on,
there's
man.
no market, but I want the writing boy.
Yeah, I want him to do the podcast. Also, he needs some baby shoes. Guy's riding with his piggies out.
Do you think at any point while the like engineer was making this, he thought, I wonder if I could just get a real boy.
Making
if I could just get a real boy to do this and tell the king it's
Well,
a
that
real
was
boy.
the Mechanical Turk.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was just like a dude.
It was
in
it was a box that it was called the Turk, or no, the Mechanical Turk is the Amazon thing, but it was called the Turk, and literally it could play chess, but there's just
There's
a guy
just
in
a
a
guy
box
moving
moving the chess
Boy.
pieces.
Life
Can we
hack.
double check that it's called the Turk? I'm like 99% sure, but yeah, Mechanical, Turk.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Turk. Yeah.
That's Hassan.
That's what they
That's
call me.
crazy that they called the Amazon service after that, because it like that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, thank you for joining me on Sad Boys.
No, thank you
You're
for having us.
very
Seriously,
welcome.
man.
Thanks for having us.
Can we have the show back? Because it's like I would like.
Well,
to...
he did defeat us in combat.
Yeah,
He did win.
I'm
it
going
as
to do
spoils.
an evaluation now that I've been here.
Okay.
I will give you guys your score afterwards to let
Okay.
you know if you're allowed to keep podcasting.
Okay, this is exciting.
We'll see.
Or maybe it's scary. Uh-oh.
Yeah, but I mean, as long as you pass, it's pass fail.
Oh, okay.
So as long as you pass, you get to keep podcasting.
Okay.
And the bar is solo.
That's I do agree.
It does seem that way.
Yeah, don't you worry about it.
What if we pivoted to talking about like supplements and how monkeys probably could like beat up a
that will
UFC
help,
fighter?
honestly.
Okay.
The fact that you guys had microphones already is a pass, frankly. Like,
Right,
you have microphones, you're
that
allowed to
does
keep
make
making your
sense.
This is
podcast.
huge. Should I do something about how women shouldn't be allowed to play video games?
You've
You've
already passed, and now you're looking
can't
for.
say not allowed. You have to say, like, aren't good enough. Like, it's actually bad for them to play video games.
Yes, no, it's like dishes are better.
Yeah. I actually have to say, it's not about how good they are. It's that I'm worried about women who play video games.
Actually,
You did create that
kind of a
spreadsheet
hero.
of video games that went woke.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd be
And then
like,
you just write all of them
All of
in
them
caps.
these days.
And now cash your $1 million check.
Right. Wow.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
Because in that case, well, maybe.
Travis, thank you for joining us. Where can our listeners and viewers find you if they want to hear more of your cockamamie ideas?
You can go to McElroy.family, and all of our stuff is there. McElroy.family.
McCory.
And
Travis Micklemoy.
Micklemas.
Macklemore.
Mickey Mouse.
Very Micklemas, by the way.
Travis Mickey Mouse. Is it also, if you look up McElroy Family on YouTube, it's there. I'm just search McElroy podcast. You'll find my brother, me, Adventure Zone,
Mabim Bam.
Schmanners, all that stuff. Mabim Bam.
You've been twitching, as you mentioned also.
Yes, I have the Travis McElroy in there. A lot of Stardew Valley. It's a lot of Stardew Valley.
That's co-working, actually.
Yeah,
You're
that's
working
co-working.
on the Valley.
That's the thing, man. To jump back, Stardew Valley is like to-do list the game.
Right.
And it's scratches so much of just like, I'll feel so accomplished and then be like, oh, I was supposed to do laundry.
I meant to do this in the real world.
You're looking at your character and be like, well, they're accomplished.
Yeah. Little Travis is out there killing it.
We end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase. We love you.
And we're sorry.
Boom. We did it.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it.
Girl, too rich for me.